a very disturbing revelation has taken place. According to reports by Dam Press, Syrian rebels have managed to get their hands on chemical weapons and are planning on using them inside of Syria very soon. Worst of all, they're planning to use them and to blame them on the Assad regime. According to the reports, they are actually getting the weapons from Libya. Now, Muammar Gaddafi did have chemical weapons inside the country, and now the forces that are currently active inside Libya that are now running the government are now reportedly giving these chemical weapons to the Syrian rebels. Also, the rebels are getting training for these chemical weapons inside of Turkey at this very moment. Now, Libya did have a stockpile of chemical weapons. However, when the Libyan government came down and when there was the talk about the Libyan government coming down, there wasn't really any mention of them. There was a lot of talk about the surface-to-air missiles that the Libyan military did have, and that once the government fell, these would end up in the hands of terrorists and other people that don't follow U.S. and NATO interests. And there was a great debate about that, saying how it would actually make terrorism in the region worse. However, there was no talk about these chemical weapons ending up in the hands of hostile forces hostile to U.S. and NATO interests. So it's very interesting that the silence on that now is starting to be broken. Now, we know Libya is a U.S. puppet now. It was NATO that invaded. It was completely a plot by the West to overthrow Gaddafi. Now, this U.S. puppet is giving chemical weapons to Syrian rebels. I mean, we really can't pretend that the U.S. isn't behind this. I mean, come on. The U.S. and NATO own that entire country, so it can't be like just some weird coincidence that they're just giving these chemical weapons to opponents of the Assad government. It's just impossible to deny. This would absolutely prove that the U.S. and NATO are involved in the Syrian situation, despite the fact that they have made claims and statements saying that they were not. It's becoming harder and harder to believe that these rebels are not backed by U.S. and NATO forces.